We're going to be working on this awesome logo. You can see this logo mark there. It's just a simple mark here. And then I've added some typography, which I customize as well, just to give it that extra touch and to clearly identify what the company or business is. I'm going to show you how to create this. You know, it can be different, whatever you're working on for your project. Just keep the theme around space and work on it like that. And so what we're going to do is just go to File at the top left corner and go to New. And we'll just open up a new folder. I'm just going to call it Space Camp because that's what my company's called. And you can see I'm just doing it 1920 by 1080. Leave on RGB in points. That's pretty sweet. So you can see here I've got my artboard. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to drag in my sketch. So what I went for a more of a spaceship instead of an astronaut head and all those other sketches. So that's why it's good to do a lot of sketches so you can get some ideas. And you can see here I went for this one here. So what I'm going to do is just create a box by pressing M, and I'm just going to create a clipping mask. So I'm going to select both of these and go Object, Clipping Mask, Make. So I can just keep it that. I don't want to look at all the other stuff. I just want to have this mark by itself. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go to my layers panel and just put that on another layer. I'm going to double click and just rename that sketch, and I'll probably lock that sketch too. So you click this little spot there and it's going to lock that layout, so it's locked. I'm going to make a new layer and we'll call it Spaceship, and I'm going to press Control or Command R, and this opens up my rulers as you can see here. And I'm just going to drag like that, holding left click. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to press Control Alt semicolon just to unlock the guide, so now I can select it. And then I'm going to go up here and select the alignment to center the guides, as you can see there. So now we have centered guides in the middle of the artboard, and we can start to use this to create a symmetrical logo, so we know it's going to be fully neat. And then I'm just going to Control Alt semicolon to lock those guides again. So you can see that everything's ready. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to start off with the triangle. So I'm going to go to my shape tools on the left here. I'm going to right click and then go to the star. And what I'm going to do is hold left click and drag. And then I'm going to press the down arrow key. And what that does, it decreases the sides. If you press up, it increases the sides. But if you press down, it's going to decrease it. I'm going to hold shift, so it's going to be in the middle. And let go. And then I'm just going to select a bright color. We'll just go for orange now. Pick yellow. So you can see that we've got our triangle here. And the reason why I went for a triangle, because it's space camp, I thought of like a tent and you know, all that type of stuff. So I incorporated a tent. Usually is just a natural shape of a triangle, and it usually has an opening in the middle. That's why I went for more of a negative look for the logo, negative space. And that's what my thinking was for that. I might make this a little bit wider. So I'm just holding Alt or Option if you're on a Mac and just dragging this out. So it's actually widening that triangle a little bit. So that's pretty cool. And what we're going to do now is start to work on the spaceship. I might make it just a bit bigger by just dragging out the sides and holding Shift and Alt. Cool. So what I'll do now is get the pen tool. I'm just going to drop the strokes. Get the pen tool by pressing P, and you can see my mouse has changed now. And what I'm going to do now is just go through here and slowly holding shift just to get that nice curve. You can see I get that nice curve because there's 2 anchor points. You want to minimize the amount of anchor points so it can be as smooth as possible. And whilst this is still selected like this, I can just hold Alt and Shift to drag the handle in because I don't want a big curve. I want it to come down here. So then I'll click that. And then I'll left click on the point to get rid of the handle and hold shift to get that spot like this. And then I'll connect it like that. So you can see there we've got our spaceship there. And I'm going to start to build out these other parts. So I'm going to get the pen tool again, press P. I'm going to build out this wing. And you can see how that purple, see this purple line? That means my smart guides are on. So it's recognizing the points there. So I'm just going to do this. We're going to connect it later on. And to go to your smart guides, you can go to View, Control U, so it's pretty handy. And then for the window, I'm going to press L for the ellipse tool, and I'm going to get a circle out. And holding left click and Option and Shift, or Alt and Shift, it's going to drag a proportional circle like that. So I have that in the middle. And then for the fumes, or the gas, or whatever you want to call it, I'm just going to click there, hold Shift, click, click, click. So I have this one piece here. So that's all the main pieces we need. And what I'm going to do now is select these 3 pieces that I created. And I'm going to press O for the reflect tool. And you can see your mouse changes. And I'm going to find the center point. So that's why we have our guide, so we can find the center. And I'm going to hold Option or Alt, left click once. And you'll get this box pop up. And what I can do is just press Preview. And we're going to flip it vertically, so it's going to flip it on the other side. So we know it's going to be symmetrically perfect. I'm going to press Copy. And now there we have it. We've got those all our spots that we need, all our shapes. So I'm going to go to my my Pathfinder tool. If you don't know how to open that, go to Window Pathfinder down there. I'm going to select these 2 spots, press Unite. And I'll select all these other points as well. Click Unite that. So what we have to do, all these are united, but we got to get rid of this middle stroke. So I'm going to select that, just delete that. And you can see these 2 points. It wasn't aligned, so we're just going to align that to the center. And then I'm going to select it and go to Object, Path, and Join. That's going to connect it. So you can see there, it's 1 point now. So sometimes you just edit as you go along. So you can see here, this is messed up, so just delete that. And we're going to click these 2, and then we're going to delete these 2. And you can see that it's not connected, so I'm going to select these 2 points and go to Path, Object, Path, Join again. So you can see that's joined there. So also we have our spaceship ready. And what I'd like to do is extend this artboard. So I'm going to go to my artboard tool. Let's extend it out. And what I'm going to do is going to select all the strokes and drag this out by holding Option and Shift. And we can see that I can turn off my guides. I'll just turn that off. And I'm just going to change the color of the stroke. So you can see here, I've got all the strokes, and we're going to start to play around with it. But first, I'm just going to get some color. So a good place to go to color is if you go to Color Hunt. And you can see you got some awesome colors here that you can play with. You know, got some nice purples, even bright colors. It's got some awesome colors. I'm going to stick to the colors that we used before. So I'm just going to quickly do that. So I got my colors here. I'm just going to go to my swatches, select all unused, and delete those. So now I can just select these and then press the group button and make sure this is ticked, press OK. And I'll just make this one to... Okay, cool. There we go. So we've got our colors there. And I'm going to use these purple colors that we have. And the reason why I did purple is because, you know, it's revolved around space. So purple usually connotates to magic and, you know, uncommon things. It's an uncommon color. You know, it's bright. It's, you know, spiritual. It's weird. It's cool. It's exciting. And, you know, it adds that little bit of, you know, magic to it. And the unknown. So that's why I picked that. And also with the yellow is a complementary color to purple. So they work really well together and has a nice contrast. So we're going to use that. So what we're going to do, I have the strokes here. And what I'm going to do now is select it, and I'm going to press Shift M to get the shape builder tool up, and I'm going to hold Alt and just drag down to minus this section off. So now you can see we've made some negative space. So what I want to do is copy it across again, because if we want to make changes, we don't just want to do it on that one. We want to always have a copy there so we can go back. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to round it off. So I'm going to select this stroke. I'm going to press A for the direct selection tool. You can also select it up there, and you can see these round corners. That means this little white ball, you can actually drag it in, and it's going to round that off. So if you want a little bit around or heaps rounded, you can see that it's rounded off like that. You know, because maybe the space camp, I'm aiming it sort of at a younger crowd, you know, and it's all about like learning about space, and you know, it's like an adventurous thing. So I don't want to make it too sharp. So I want it more rounded. And then once again, I'll copy that across again. And then now you can see if there's any excess stuff, just get rid of that. And I'm going to select it now and press Shift X. And I'll select the circle, press Shift X, and then I can just group this together. So now it's grouped. Or instead of grouping it, you can actually go to Pathfinder and unite it. So then it becomes one shape as well. So if I change the color, you can see that, which is awesome. So what I'll do now, I'll just make a separate artboard with the artboard tool. I will drag this out. I'll make it white. I'll press M, and I'm just going to make a quick background using the dark purple. And then to bring it to the back, you go to Object, Arrange, Bring Backward, and that sends this to the back. And then we have our logo mark. I'm just going to make it smaller, and I'll center it. And then we have our simple logo mark of our spaceship, and then we can work on some typography next.